Hey there, so I'm here to continue reading my Memoirs of an Ex-Transgender. And for those who do not know me, I'm Reverend Edmund Smith, the ex-transgender pastor. So I'm going to continue from yesterday or the other time when I was reading. Thus was my mother's childhood. The circumstances inevitably shaped her personality into a tough and resilient figure. This eventually had an effect on how she mothered me years later. Strict, firm, no nonsense. Chapter 3, Parents. While Grandma Rose and Grandpa Francis's love story was the stuff of Romeo and Juliet, Mommy and Daddy's love story was surprisingly rather conservative. After the death of Grandma Rose, my mother, Mary, instantaneously became a full-time homemaker, caring for her brothers and running the household. Her maturity and conscientiousness in caring for her family caught the eyes of someone special. No, it wasn't my father's eyes yet, but rather his mother's. Yes, strange as it may sound, Mommy and Daddy's love story began with the intervention of an enthusiastic future mother-in-law. Grandma Gladys, the blessed matchmaker. Grandma Gladys Smith Nee Young, meaning she was young, her surname was Young before she became a Smith, was the wife of a British surgeon who was deployed to Singapore years before the start of the Second World War. Grandpa Donald Andrew Smith must have felt lonesome, being so far away from home that he took a local Eurasian girl as his wedded wife. A few years after their marriage, the war broke out in Southeast Asia. Grandpa was part of the 90,000 strong garrison comprising soldiers from Britain, Australia, and India, who were tasked to guard Singapore and beyond. Back then, the British military base in Singapore was the pride of the British Empire and was believed to be invincible. Yet it fell into the hands of the Imperial Japanese Army in February 1942. When the Japanese began their invasion of the island from Malaya, Grandpa and his fellow comrades fought valiantly. Tragically, as a frontliner, he was among the early casualties. Records shows that he died as a war hero on 13 March 1942, defending the island from the Japanese soldiers. After the war ended in 1945, Grandma Gladys was faced with two options: to relocate to Tottenham, her late husband's hometown in England, or to resettle in Malacca. Still grieving and mourning for her husband's untimely death, she made the decision to return to her own mother's hometown, where she might find some solace among her relatives. So off to the Portuguese settlement in Malacca, she went and lived right behind Grandpa Francis Alcantara's home. Talk about divine appointment. When Grandma Rose was still alive, she often chatted with Grandma Gladys. Both ladies had a lot in common, from their Eurasian background with Portuguese blood flowing through their veins to the homes they left behind in Singapore. Though widowed at a young age and with 3 young boys in tow, Grandma Gladys was hardly your idea of the single mother struggling to make ends meet. Her late husband's heroic service as a British soldier was recognized, and she became the benefactor of her husband's pension, received good solid British pounds every month until the day she passed away in 2004. Hence, Grandma Gladys became a lady of leisure, spending her time day after day, yet year after year, taking in the scenes around her while sipping her English tea at her backyard patio. Her sons were growing up as fine young Malayan men while retaining their British-Portuguese heritage. Because of her financial status, Grandma Gladys was highly respected and was affectionately addressed as Ma'am by the villagers. As an observant neighbor in the Portuguese settlement, Grandma Gladys had noticed how diligent the girl living in the house behind her was. Oh, poor Mary, often at such a young age. Her mother Rose was a darling, and oh, how Grandma Gladys missed chatting with that sweet lady. Now that Rose was gone, young Mary had taken over all the duties of cleaning, cooking, and caring for her brothers. That's it. That's the kind of girl Grandma Gladys would want her now, all grown up. Philandering second son to Mary, the ultimate girl next door who would stay at home, look after the family's affairs, and finger crossed, breed and continue to multiply. Now, the kind of loose ladies whom the son had been dating, not the kind of loose ladies whom the son had been dating. Those women knew only how to dance away the night and party till daylight. They cared only for themselves, for how they looked and what they would be fed with. They would only make her poor son even poorer and bankrupt the whole family. No, she would never allow any of those wild women to marry into the Smith family. Hence, a year after Grandma Rose's death in 1964, Grandma Gladys felt the time had come for her to carry out her mission. Mommy had just turned 15 and Daddy was approaching 28. Back in the 1960s, it was not uncommon for teenage girls to marry. Neither was the 13-year age gap between them an issue. After all, Mommy was way more mature than her biological age. She was already out of school, having completed her primary school education, and seemed destined for the vocation of being a wife and a mother. Grandma Gladys' first strategy was to drop hints for her son Malcolm, and in an attempt to draw his attention to the girl next door, Mary Alcantara. Hey Malcolm, have you noticed how beautiful Mary is? She's grown to be a tall and lovely lass. Look at her long, glorious hair. You like girls with long hair, don't you? Her hair is so much prettier than the one you are currently dating. My, that smells heavenly. Mary is such a great cook. Imagine her as your wife. You'll always have delicious food to fill your belly daily. Mary is such a good sister, looking after her brothers. She would be a good mother one day. Blessed is the man who marries her. Grandma Gladys sang praises of Mummy, each time with a twinkle in her eye. Grandma Gladys's strategy seemed to work. From not paying any attention to the little girl next door, Daddy Malcolm started to take note of this unassuming girl. From not considering her at all as a potential candidate, Daddy started to include Mummy in his long list of girls to consider. Daddy the Casanova had girls lining up from Kuala Lumpur to Malacca, right to Singapore, Chinese, Indian, Eurasian. Daddy did not discriminate when it came to dating. Gradually, with Grandma Gladys' persistence, persuasion, Mommy moved from the bottom of his list to the top. Once at the top of his list, Mommy became the subject of his prayers at novenas. Despite his playboy status, Daddy was deeply religious and believed only the Almighty knew best whom he should marry. Hence, at 6:50 p.m. every Saturday, Daddy turned up religiously at St. Francis Xavier Church for his novena. Is Mary the one? Queried his heart. If she's the one for me, may I fall in love with her. Plant the seed of love within me for her, Lord, implored his soul. If indeed you have destined her to be my wife, guard my heart so that I will no longer seek after others. And with that, Daddy's heart seemed to be resolute.